Welcome to today's Explainer. Bringing a new puppy home is honestly one of the most thrilling things you can do. You've probably picked out all the squeaky toys, a super cute collar, and of course the perfect name. But the reality of those first few weeks, well, it's serious business. Today, we're taking expert advice and real-world veterinary insights, and we're transforming them into a structured survival guide. We are going to make absolutely sure your new best friend stays healthy, happy, and safe. So, let me ask you, are you truly ready for endless cuddles? You're probably picturing those lazy Sunday mornings, right? A tiny, warm fur ball fast asleep on your chest, just soaking in all that affection. I mean, it's the ultimate dream. Okay, let's dive into this, because the expectation of constant cuddles actually clashes with a pretty harsh reality. It is incredibly common for new owners to experience what we call puppy blues, or even a bit of buyer's remorse. You expect them to just cuddle on the couch with you all day, but suddenly, the puppy just wants to be left alone on the cold kitchen floor. Listen to me, this is completely normal. Give it time, allow the puppy to acclimate to their new world, and seriously, don't panic if your first few weeks feel way more stressful than magical.
If you're feeling a little overwhelmed right now, take a deep breath. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The puppy honeymoon phase, 2. A safe and healthy diet, 3. Critical mistakes you need to avoid, 4. Health, vaccines, and vets, 5. Training your new puppy, and finally, 6. The reality of ownership.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the puppy honeymoon phase. Those very first 24 hours of bringing your puppy home are absolutely critical. Keep in mind, drastic changes cause immense stress for them, so tread lightly. When you finally arrive home, there are a few crucial do's and don'ts. First up, do not feed them immediately after a long car ride. You literally must wait at least 1 to 1.5 hours. Otherwise, the stress and motion sickness can actually cause a fever. And for those first few days, you must stick to exactly whatever the breeder fed them, whether that's curd and rice or a specific brand of kibble, keep it identical. Lastly, make sure you set up a designated permanent sleep space on day 1. They need to know exactly where their safe zone is in this bizarre new environment. Moving right along to Section 2, a safe and healthy diet. Eventually, you are going to need to introduce a new diet, but you have to do it without upsetting their highly sensitive stomach. This is what we call the safe food transition. A surprisingly great starting point is actually human baby Cerelac. Yeah, like a wheat-apple blend mixed with water. It's incredibly light and really aids digestion for young pups. Then you literally just add about 5 kibbles of a high-quality starter food into that mix. Slowly, and I mean slowly, increase that kibble ratio over the next 10 to 15 days. You can even use mild digestive drops like neopeptine if you notice they're getting any stomach aches during this shift. It is all about slow, patient changes. Once they're eating well, you've got to stick to some daily, non-negotiable feeding rules. You need to feed a young puppy up to 4 times a day, but here's the catch: never ever free feed. Don't just leave a bowl of food out all day long for them to graze on. That is a fast trap to canine obesity and massive constant poops in your house. Not fun. Also, after every single meal, make sure to gently clean their mouth and paws with a wet towel. It's a small step that goes a long way for their hygiene. Now for Section 3, critical mistakes to avoid. These are the dangerous and sadly sometimes fatal errors that well-meaning owners make. First and foremost, keep your floors spotless. Puppies are basically little vacuum cleaners. They explore their entire world with their mouths. If your floor isn't impeccably clean, they will chew on and swallow cotton, plastic wrappers, dirt, or stray pieces of string. Swallowing household debris like that causes severe intestinal blockages. And let me tell you, those are incredibly difficult and sometimes impossible to treat safely in such young, fragile dogs. So the crucial point is, do not fall for the milk myth. Never give your new puppy cow's milk or goat's milk. It's a massive mistake that so many people make because they think, oh, it's a baby, it needs milk. The result is almost always severe loose motion and really dangerous dehydration. And the ultimate consequence of that dehydration, a drastically lowered immune system, which massively increases their risk of catching deadly, highly contagious diseases like parvovirus. Just stick to dog-safe food and water. Let's talk about Section 4, health, vaccines, and vets. We really need to look at the medical realities of those first few months. Here is your critical medical timeline. Day 1 is strictly for acclimating to the home. No vaccines yet. Getting a vaccine on a highly stressful travel day can be disastrous for their immune system. Around days 5 to 7, that's when you'll want to schedule that first vet visit for their initial shots. Then, between days 20 to 22, you absolutely must administer their first deworming syrup. That prevents fatal anemia caused by parasites. And from months 0 to 3, it's strict home isolation until all their combined vaccines are fully complete. And speaking of that very first vet visit, you need to be hyper aware of the hidden dangers inside the clinic itself. When you go, absolutely avoid letting your unprotected puppy touch the clinic counters and keep them far, far away from other dogs in the waiting room. Honestly, just keep them in your arms. Parvovirus is insanely contagious and it can live on those surfaces from previous sick dogs. Plus, interacting with outside dogs or walking them outside way too early seriously risks tick-borne fevers.
All right, shifting gears to Section 5, training your new puppy.
Let's pivot slightly to behavioral safety. A huge concept you need to grasp is that dogs are den creatures. They genuinely love enclosed spaces. I really want to reframe crate training for you here. A crate is absolutely not a jail for your dog. It is a safe, enclosed resting place. Because dogs are den animals, their natural instincts actually tell them not to soil the small place where they sleep. When done right, the crate becomes their own personal, comfortable bedroom. And hey, that natural instinct leads right into our foolproof potty training loop. Step 1, feed the puppy its scheduled meal. Step 2, immediately walk them to their designated potty spot. Step 3, praise them heavily once they go. Make it a big deal. It's a very simple, chronological loop, but the key is remembering that puppies almost always need to go immediately after eating. If you stick to this strict schedule, I promise you'll save your carpets.
Finally, Section 6, the reality of ownership.
This is where we have to have a frank talk about the expensive and, frankly, time-consuming truth of raising a dog. Here is the messy truth. Walks are required every 3 to 4 hours. And yes, that means whether it's pouring rain, snowing, or you are just dead tired. Also, a pro tip, no on-leash readings with other dogs. It prevents random bites and tangled leashes, keeping everyone totally safe. Beyond that, expect mud on your clean floors, expect drool on your nice clothes, and sometimes in your food. And yes, expect massive poops. And grooming? Nope, you cannot use human shampoo or a human hairdryer. You need special dog products, so you don't burn their sensitive skin or dry out their coat. And this brilliantly illustrates the true cost of ownership. It is so much more than just paying for basic supplies. Look at the time factor. You are dedicating hours every single day to walking and grooming. Medically, you are paying for constant vet visits, vaccines, and inevitably some pretty expensive antibiotics when they eventually get sick. And training? That requires immense, unwavering patience. Like we said earlier, there are no instant perfect cuddles without putting in the really hard work first. So I leave you with this final provocative question. Are you truly ready for the commitment? Look, puppies grow into beloved, absolutely incredible family members, but understanding this stark, demanding reality from day one is the only way to avoid regret later. Do the research, puppy-proof your home, and ask yourself if you're really ready for the beautiful, messy, chaotic journey of raising a dog. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.